So by far one of the most requested series of videos to do on this channel is affordable watches. And what we're gonna be doing today is exactly that. 10 awesome watches under $100. Let's get into it. So before we jump in, I did announce the release of my watch strap line. They are on my website, teddybaldassarre.com. I will link to it down below. Any support with purchasing those would be a huge help for the channel. On top of that, I also will have the links to all the watches in the description down below. And if you use those links, that also helps out the channel. So take a look at those as well. Our first watch here is the Timex Expedition Ranger. So just before we jump into this, all the price points here are based on where I live in the United States. It may be different depending on where you live throughout the world, but this watch comes in $30 to $40 price point, case size of 43 millimeters, powered by a quartz movement, and is water resistant up to 50 meters. If all of this different information doesn't really make sense to you, say you're new to watches, I will definitely link to some helpful videos that I've done in the past explaining what all this means and really where value resides and how to determine what watch is best for you. So Timex has been making watches since 1854, a brand that I really enjoy, and with the launch of more mechanical movement watches, I'm really excited. I think this would be another great addition to their line if they wanted to make this watch an automatic version. And no watch list is complete under $100 without Timex, in my opinion. Now we have a couple Casio watches, and the first Casio watch is actually an analog watch, and it is the Casio MQ24-7B2. This watch comes in with a price point of $10. So the most affordable watch on our list here today. On top of that, it comes with a case size of 35 millimeters, powered by a quartz movement, and is water resistant up to 30 meters. Cool thing about this watch, it's probably one of the most affordable analog watches that you can find on the market. And this watch has also been seen on the wrist of Pope Francis. So if you want a little bit of piece of your holiness, you can get it for $10. When constructing this list, I realized that I didn't mention many digital watches, but I do have one here, and I think it's some of the best value that you can find under $100 for a digital watch, and that is the Casio World Time. And this particular version comes in stainless steel. So you have a rubber case option with a bracelet, as well as a stainless steel version. We're gonna be looking at the stainless steel version. Comes in with a price point of $20, case size of 39.5 millimeters. This is a digital watch, so it's powered by a quartz movement, and then water resistant up to 100 meters. This watch comes with a world time indicator, an LCD display with an LED light, multiple alarm options, and the typical digital watch options that really we've come to love, especially from Casio. And I think this is just great value for money here. Moving right along, we have the Citizen BM818003E. So this watch comes in at $83, case size of 37 millimeters, powered by a quartz movement, and is water resistant up to 100 meters. If I am looking for an everyday watch, this has a field watch type aesthetic, this is a great option. So Citizen has been making watches since 1918, so now over 100 years, and have a ton of watches in the under $100 price range. And this is personally one of my favorites, is an awesome everyday watch option. Now we have a brand that lives under the Citizen watch umbrella, Bulova. We're gonna be looking at the Bulova 96A133. So this is a watch that I think just has a clean aesthetic, certainly a little bit more on the dressy side, has a price point of $80, case size of 41 millimeters, powered by a quartz movement, and is water resistant up to 30 meters. So Bulova, owned by the Citizen Group, really became an iconic brand with the release of the Accutron back in 1960, being the first watch to use a 360 hertz tuning fork instead of an oscillating balance wheel for timekeeping. And honestly, I think we could probably do an entire video just about that watch. If you want me to do that, definitely leave comments down below. All right guys, so what watches have I missed? And I have done videos of watches under $100, so if you've not seen those videos, I will certainly link to those down below. So don't get discouraged if I didn't mention your favorite watch, but I also just love to see, what other watches would you want to see mentioned. I plan on doing more of these videos going forward. And then finally, if you like the choices so far, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and then hit the bell icon if you're new here. Okay, now we have Seiko, and no list under $100, very similar to Timex, like I mentioned earlier, is complete without this brand. So this is the Seiko SNK789, a watch I don't really see mentioned a lot. And of course you hear about the 800 series line, the 803, 805, 807, or 809. All great watches. I've given love to those on past affordable watch list videos, but this is one I do not see mentioned as much. This watch comes with a clean white dial with a price point of $60 to $70, case size of 36 millimeters, powered by an automatic Seiko 7S26 movement, a movement you should be pretty familiar with if you've ever purchased a Seiko 5 before, and then are water resistant up to 30 meters. I think this is a really interesting watch. It finds that unique balance between an everyday piece and a piece that could potentially be dressed up. I know the colorful red secondhand really does probably skew away from being dressy, but if you put this on the right strap, I think it could be a really interesting watch that you can get a lot of use out of. And now speaking of overlooked watches, when you think of Orient, you're probably thinking of their divers or maybe the Orient Bambino. But next we have two watches from Orient that I think are totally overlooked. First being the Orient Capital II. So this watch comes in with a $75 price point, case size of 41 millimeters, and I think that's probably the biggest rub I have with this watch, with it being a bit dressy. 41 millimeters is a bit large, but still, for those with larger wrists, a great option. Powered by a quartz Orient HS911 movement and are water resistant up to 30 meters. Really like these watches, Roman numeral markers for the hour markers, and just a very overlooked watch and great value for money. Now let's move right along with Orient. And again, when you're thinking about an automatic dress watch from Orient, I think 99% of the people out there will think of the Orient Bambino. But this is another watch that you need to consider going forward if you're looking for a dress piece from Orient. It's automatic movement, except this one comes under $100 easily. And the watch is the Orient Symphony. So this watch can be found for $90. I have a link to it down below if you want to check it out. Case size of 41 millimeters, running a little bit large again, powered by an automatic Orient 48743 movement. So an automatic in-house movement here, water resistant up to 30 meters. And I just think this is a great looking watch, one that is completely overlooked and I don't see mentioned enough. Now we have two German watch brands to really close out our list here. And the first brand that we're gonna be looking at is a brand that you probably don't consider when thinking of watches. And the brand is Braun. And we're gonna be looking at the Braun BN0021. So this watch comes in with a price point of $68, case size of 38 millimeters, powered by a quartz movement, and is water resistant up to 50 meters. Like I just mentioned, Braun, a very overlooked brand when you're thinking about watches. They are based in Germany, and you could argue that they embody the Bauhaus minimalist style better than anybody else in this price range, sub $100. And for our last watch, we have the Gigandet Red Baron IV. So this watch comes in with a price point of $80 to $100. You have multiple different dial variations that also have different hands, which really complement and give the watch a different feel depending on what option you go for. These have larger case sizes of 46 millimeters, powered by a quartz Miyota 6S21 movement, and are water resistant up to 30 meters. This watch resembles a lot of those post-World War I chronographs that I think are simply timeless, and despite using Japanese movements, again, this company is based in Germany, and I think they're probably one of the more overlooked brands in this affordable tier of watches. All right guys, so that is my list here today. If you want me to continue this series of affordable watch lists, give this video a thumbs up. That's a great indicator on what you guys want to see going forward. And then also, if you're in the market for a watch strap, definitely go over to the site, check out the watch straps that I was able to source here. I tried to walk that fine line, affordability and quality, and I'd put these up against any other straps in this price tier. So really definitely would recommend going there. And that also really supports me in trying to become a full-time YouTuber. That's a big goal of mine in the next month or so. If you're new here, please do hit the subscribe button, also that bell icon. And also, if you want to support this new generation of watch lovers that we're trying to foster up here, go to our Patreon. Any support there would be greatly appreciated as well. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Be well, and I will see you all very soon.